Next News. Breaking news.
Do I have to tell you? Sunrise Senior Services operator, snap that on camera and stop right there. See, that line tells you everything. Nick Shirley walks up with the public filings, points at $12.9 million billed in 2024, $10.8 million for adult daycare, $2.1 million for transportation. And the answer isn't a clean denial, it's panic, it's attitude, it's a hit dog hollering. And this isn't some giant hospital campus either. We're talking about a one-story building tied to 7,899 members. Come on, guys. I mean, you can feel the scam sweating through the screen. And wait till you hear the second location claiming 348 beneficiaries in just one day while hauling in $5.5 million. See, we're talking about $12.9 million in 2024. 7,899 members at one New York City daycare. That number should just punch you in the face because this is your money getting vacuumed through a blue city fraud pipeline while honest Americans work, pay taxes, and get played for suckers. Now look at the pattern. Sunrise Senior Service, that's the company. They bill $10.8 million for adult daycare, another $2.1 million for transportation. Then the operator gets cornered and starts playing games instead of answering basic questions. Then Nick Shirley hits a clinic that grabbed $5.5 million in 2025 and claiming 348 beneficiaries in a single day. A single day. Okay, read that again and try not to get furious. Normal people follow the rules. These outfits, okay, they gorge on Medicaid-style billing, kickbacks, and bureaucratic cover. And who let this rot spread? New York's machine politicians. The city enforcers who looked away, and the establishment crowd that spent years stalking citizens while parasites looted the treasury. And that's why Trump's crackdown matters. He's not polishing talking points. What is he doing? He's hunting the thieves. And breaking tonight, rising defense demand and near-record tungsten prices are pushing Washington deeper into the race to secure critical minerals supply chain outside of China. Tungsten is now a tungsten national security priority that's used in fighter jets, tanks, missiles, drones, and ammunition. Yet there has been no U.S. commercial tungsten mining since 2015. Now, Project Vault includes a $12.5 billion strategic stockpile and a $30 billion domestic production push, with Pentagon funding restarting efforts. Vault Strategic Mining, trading as KNOX in Canada and KNXFF in the United States, is building a growing U.S. tungsten portfolio around historic tungsten assets in mining-friendly U.S. jurisdictions, including the Nevada Great Basin flagship with Second World War history, approximately 10,000 feet drilled, and a U.S. Geological Survey regional estimate of roughly 168,000 tons of tungsten oxide, with an estimated in-ground value of $30 billion to $50 billion. Check out the full briefing. It's linked below just for you. Now let's go back to this, because we're talking about 348 beneficiaries in one day, 5.5 million in 2025. That's the detail. I can't shake it because the minute Nick Shirley asks the obvious question, they don't explain the math. They demand his ID, right? I mean, look at that move. Not answers, not records, not transparency. Give me your ID. That's what people do when the numbers torch them. And that panic lines up perfectly with the Sunrise clip you're about to see. Impossible billing, instant hostility, zero straight answers. Now I'm going to pull up the receipts, and I'm going to walk you through who billed what, because the paper trail is real. We have this from Catch Up, the feed, 12.9 million billed in 2024, 10.8 for adult daycare. These are the public filings of Sunrise Senior Service, one of the many suspected fraudulent senior daycares in New York City.
For the fraud or claim or something, right?
Oh, so you can tell us where the other fraud's at? We're outside of Sunrise Senior Service. In 2024, this adult daycare right here billed $12.9 million. In adult daycare, they paid $10.8 million. And in transportation, they paid $2.1 million. The last daycare we were at said this is the one that is taking all their clients and they're giving kickbacks. Because then we were doing like some numbers and it said you guys made like $12.9 million in 2024, and which is a lot of money, and then like $2.1 million for transportation companies. So like you guys billed $12.9 million, and then out of that $12 million, 10 was for adult daycare and 2 was for transportation.
Yes.
And so they're saying they're giving kickbacks.
No, we don't. So where? Who
Where?
told you that?
Well, the other daycare, because they didn't want to give us kickbacks.
Yeah, because we don't offer kickbacks.
No kickbacks.
No kickbacks.
Do you think it's true that a lot of these daycares are like committing fraud?
I heard some of the daycares are doing fraud, but we don't do fraud thing.
How many members do you guys have?
I don't have to tell you.
Because here it says you guys have 7,899. This place doesn't look like it can hold 7,000 people. Well, this is public information because it's public tax dollars that you guys are receiving.
I don't have to tell you, right?
Yeah, but do you guys have 7,000 members, for instance?
No, we don't have 7,000 members.
It says you have 7,899 in 2024, so that's not true.
7,000
Yeah,
members?
so you guys are you guys overbilling then? Because you guys are getting paid per patient $1,600. And that's how you guys got $12.9 million in 2024. But did you have 7,000? I think you'd remember if you had.
No, I don't. We don't have 7,000 members.
So, how come you guys billed for 7,000 people then?
Do I have to tell you?
Well, you like $12.9 million on 7,000 patients, and you say there's not 7,000 patients. Are you committing fraud? Hello, ma'am. How are you? Does this daycare give kickbacks? Does this daycare pay you to come here?
여기.
She just said yes. She just said yeah. She said yeah. God bless you.
God bless you.
I love your shirt, USA. She just said they get kickbacks.
So the first stop already looked rotten. 12.9 million billed, nowhere near the head count, and a brazen "do I have to tell you?" Now Nick Shirley walks into another taxpayer-funded operation claiming 348 patients in a single day and gets stonewalled fast. Wall Street apes flagging this post, and we bring it to you.
Annual checkup. What are the odds that the day Nick Shirley shows up to have an annual checkup? The odds of that happening are very, very slim. So you guys received $5.5 million in 2025. In your peak day, you guys have 341. Yeah, right here. So how come one day you guys had 348 beneficiaries?
No, I didn't answer. Can you give me permit?
We don't need a permit to film. But do you think there is fraud taking place here inside some of these daycares, ma'am?
Can you give me your ID? Everybody, can you give me
Can you give me your ID?
Yes, sir.
Give me your ID.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
So give each other your IDs. Give her your ID as well.
Give me your ID first.
No.
So I'm not going to give you my ID. My name's Nick Shirley. I have nothing to hide. For you guys' benefit, it would help if you guys could just answer.
I don't want the benefit.
I don't
What's
think
an
you
F-
understand what I just said.
What's
so,
$5.5 million?
have a good day.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Are you guys committing fraud by chance?
No.
To give you an idea of how insane this is, they're claiming to serve 348 patients in one day. So how big of a practice would you have to serve almost 350 patients in one day? Well, the average doctor can serve about 20 to 30 patients per day. This is based on the amount of time that's in a day. So to serve 348 patients, you would need about 14 full-time doctors seeing 25 patients each. So I don't think this practice has 14 full-time doctors. So the actual facility itself would need a lot more staff. You would need about 100 people working full-time at this location to be able to serve 350 patients. You need a
So after the clinic couldn't explain the math, started demanding ID, the fraud trail only got hotter. Next, Nick Shirley lays out how this Queens daycare scheme came together and why the left wants him shut down. Dinesh D'Souza, at the young age of 24, he writes, Nick Shirley continues to expose fraud despite the countless threats from the left as they try to stop him. God bless Nick.
So I started this investigation on these adult daycares in Flushing, Queens, and I go to this first location and they're like, well, we're losing all our clients because this daycare is offering kickbacks. And I said, well, is the fraud real? And they say, yes, the fraud is very much real. And so then I kept digging and I went to this next location, and at one location they had 7,000 patients, more than 7,000 patients, and they were billing up to $12 million. And it's only one-story building.
Wow.
On the second floor of a building.
Wow, Nick. I mean, the video is stunning. And then you have, a great co-pilot there in...
Yeah, Dr. Oz was with him. So you heard it from Nick. Tiny buildings, giant billing numbers, and threats the moment someone asks questions. Next, the Trump DOJ shows what happens when Washington actually decides to hunt fraud instead of protect the swamp. Assistant AG Colin McDonald announces that in less than 1 year since its launch, the Trade Fraud Task Force has officially surpassed $1 billion in criminal and civil recoveries.
98 days ago, based on the vision of President Trump and Vice President Vance, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche announced the creation of the National Fraud Enforcement Division at the Department of Justice. Our goal is to protect taxpayer dollars and stop the brazen thievery of America's wealth and generosity. In the last 98 days, the Department of Justice has announced over 900 major fraud enforcement actions across the country, including cases targeting billions of taxpayer dollars supporting Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP benefits, unemployment benefits, education benefits, and more. Today, alongside the Department of Homeland Security and other federal partners, we are announcing an extraordinary enforcement milestone in a new frontier of fraud enforcement. That is trade and customs fraud. In less than 1 year since its launch, the Trade Fraud Task Force, which is now a permanent force within our fraud division, has officially surpassed $1 billion in criminal and civil recoveries, penalties, forfeitures, and charged losses.
Let's go. That's the difference when the adults are back in charge. Enforcement with teeth. Now, press release leader up next. The DOJ puts a number on it. More than $1 billion recovered through the Trade Fraud Task Force. This might just be on their angle.
Today, alongside the Department of Homeland Security and other federal partners, we are announcing an extraordinary enforcement milestone in a new frontier of fraud enforcement. That is trade and customs fraud.
So the first announcement set the headline. The next official makes the stakes plain. It's not paperwork, it's theft for American workers, families. DHS lays out why the trade fraud hits every citizen in the wallet. Assistant Secretary for Trade and Economic Security.
CBP and HSI man the front lines of our defense against all manners of threats to this nation. Today's achievements would not be possible without their commitment to protect the homeland. The mission of the Department of Homeland Security and the Trade Fraud Task Force is simple: to protect the security, public safety, and economic prosperity of the American people. HSI uses its international and domestic operations in more than 200 cities and 47 countries to identify, investigate, and dismantle criminal activity that exploits the infrastructure of global trade in order to defraud the American people. And as the nation's largest law enforcement agency, CBP leverages its intelligence-driven operations and far-reaching authorities to enforce U.S. tariff and trade law and collect lawful revenue. By combining DHS's operational reach and investigative authorities and DOJ's prosecutorial expertise, the task force represents a sea change in U.S. government strategy to combat trade fraud and eliminate the economic incentives of criminal activity.
So DHS is making the point clear: fraud isn't victimless, and President Trump's moving to cut off the profit motive. Now Fox wraps it together with the scale of the crackdown and why DOJ says this is only the beginning.
Yeah, John, and the Justice Department is calling trade and customs fraud a new frontier of fraud enforcement. In just under a year since DOJ and DHS launched the Trade Fraud Task Force, officials say their work has passed more than $1 billion in recoveries in court, penalties, forfeitures, and charge losses against folks who are trying to smuggle goods into the U.S., lying about what those items are in order to evade tariffs. Those cases have now included everything from gold jewelry to aluminum, drones, quartz cabinet, and ceramic tiles, all adding up to hundreds of millions of dollars in customs charges that officials say those companies are robbing the American people of. DOJ officials say this is just the beginning, though.
Make no mistake, this $1 billion milestone is a baseline, not a finish line, and we are just getting started. To the fraudsters who think that they can slip under our radar, we are dedicated to finding you and bringing you to justice.
In addition to all the enforcement they've already done today, the DOJ announced it's creating a new section within its fraud division to lead this fight in going after customs trade and customs fraud enforcement, everything from customs evasion, slave labor, and health and safety violations. This is all just part of the administration's larger efforts to tackle fraud at every layer of government, with every agency and department asking to do everything they can to tackle it. John?
Yeah, well, the numbers keep adding up, and it's getting to be real money now. Garrett Tenney for us in Chicago. Garrett, thank you.
So based on the vision of President Trump and Vice President Vance, came the line from Colin McDonald, that is the split you can actually see with your own eyes. Nick Shirley exposes the street-level scam, and Trump's DOJ smashes the bigger fraud machine above it. In just 98 days, the National Fraud Enforcement Division blasted out over 900 major fraud enforcement actions. In less than a year, the Trade Fraud Task Force ripped back more than $1 billion in recoveries, penalties, forfeitures, and charged losses. That is what law and order looks like when adults take over. Not excuses, consequences. The villains built a system where clinics, daycares, and trade cheats treated America like an ATM. Trump and Vance flipped the script. Now the question gets asked. The books get open, and the crooks finally look scared on camera. Senior Sunrise Service. Answer the question. How did you bill $12.9 million? Can we just start there? Put the records on the table, explain the 7,899 members, explain the transportation money, explain why your operator's answer was, do I have to tell you? When the public filings got read right back at him. And New York officials need to get dragged into that light too, because this racket did not grow in a vacuum. Somebody approved it, somebody ignored it, somebody benefited. You and I know the old game. The ruling class shrugs, the media looks away, and the taxpayers eat the bill. Well, not this time. Trump's DOJ already proved the muscle is back with more than $1 billion recovered and over 900 fraud actions in 98 days. Good, keep going. Raid the scam hubs, freeze the money, hammer the middlemen. And if you're watching this, keep pushing these receipts out, because public pressure matters when the thieves start scrambling. Americans are done funding the con, and the panic on these fraudsters' faces tells me that they know it. And I've seen your comments. I can only imagine what your faces look like when you can't seem to find us. And that's why we set up this telephone number just for you, and thousands of patriots are already taking advantage of it. My question is, are you? Just text the words raw feed to 844-840-4963. That is how I send you a direct notification to your phone once a night to make sure you stay in the loop. So you get the notification from me when YouTube never sends it. Comment below. We'll see you at the next report. For the Next News Network, I'm Gary Franchi.
The system controls information. Information control is power. They don't want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.